Good morning, Be Well Nation. How are you today? As you can see, and then there were three, we have a special guest today. We have Kate Harris, as usual.
Good morning.
And we have Julie Whalen with us today. You want to go ahead and talk about Julie? You want me to introduce her? We haven't talked about what we were going to act.
Well, you know, last week when we talked to everybody, the last time we got together, we talked about, and we don't want to call them excuses,
right.
Let's call them obstacles. We talked about obstacles that sometimes make our comfort zone very
comfortable.
Yes. Obstacles, maybe it's a condition, maybe it's a time in your life where things are difficult, but we make them impossible. Note the difference. It's difficult, but we make them impossible. So we wanted to bring to you over the next few weeks some people who have had obstacles, challenges, who could have very easily made that comfort bed, made that little zone nice and fluffy and just stayed there and said, well, this is the way it is, but they chose a different path and it wasn't an easy one, but they're happy that they did. So the first person we brought on board was one of our longtime Be Well Nation members and now certified Turbo Kick and Zumba instructor, Julie Whalen. So thank you for coming on board this morning to talk to everybody.
Nice to be here.
One of the reasons we wanted you to talk to everybody today is because your story is very compelling and it's not unlike many other people's stories.
It's not as uncommon, not that as we would think. People have a lot of health conditions and issues,
right?
That if you chronic health conditions that because they're hidden, we don't know.
And when you first receive a diagnosis like yours, and you explained it so well, it can be scary. Any diagnosis, I think, can be scary because you're given that worst case scenario. You may not do this, or you may not do that. So tell us, let's go back and tell us where you were 5-6 years ago.
Well, back in my early 40s, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and I was having these flare-ups to the point where sometimes I couldn't put on my shirt, sometimes it was hard to get out of bed. I remember we were at a concert once and my husband had to actually help me on his shoulders because my leg was hurting so bad he had to walk me to the car. So, you know, I got diagnosed with this condition and I thought, oh my, what's that going to mean for me?
A young woman in your 40s, and we should mention you're a mom of?
I have 6 children.
And your youngest must have been quite young at that time.
It was my early 40s, so he was probably like 3 or 4 maybe. And like now, I mean, I have 2 in college, 2 in high school, 1 in middle school, and 1 in grade school. So that's like nice and age range of the kids there. So, you know, and my mother told me this story of my great-grandmother who had rheumatoid arthritis, and she ended up in a wheelchair and couldn't walk. And she said her hands were like this. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't. This is not going to be me. I can't do that. I've got 6 kids. I've got, you know, so what can I do? You know, you work with your doctor and they plan, you know, well, let's try this treatment. Let's try this treatment. And so we kept trying different things. And one of the things that she said was, you know, for my condition, it attacks your joints.
Okay.
And, you know, it hurts. So one of the things you're going to have to do because it hurts is you're not going to want to move. But you need to move to strengthen your muscles. And so she kept saying, I know it's going to hurt, but you really should exercise. You really should. And I thought, okay, you know, I liked to do it when I was younger, but what am I going to do now that I'm hurting?
Right.
So I tried to find something fun. And Zumba was my go-to because that's a dancey music thing. I'm like a music person. I'm like, all right, I got to try to find somewhere that's got a Zumba class that's going to fit my schedule. And so I went on to Zumba.com and there it was, Be Well, and I didn't know anybody. But, you know, I just said, I'm just going to try it. And I tried it and I loved it. And the people were so wonderful there. And it's just so encouraging and inspiring and helpful. And yeah, it wasn't easy. It was hard. Those first months, for actually probably over a year, I wore double knee braces because my knees were hurting.
Wow.
And
did you have one on your wrist or something too for a while?
I don't remember. I don't remember on my wrist, but it definitely was because my knees bothered me. Even going up the stairs. I mean, my knees especially. And, you know, you guys were like, you know, getting these low lunges. I'm like, well, I can't do that yet. You know, it took a long time to be able to strengthen those muscles, to be able to do some of the things. So, you know, you start out slow. You start out 2 or 3 times a week.
You mean it didn't happen in 6 weeks?
Oh my gosh. It took me over a year to even take the braces off.
I think when I started taking classes, you were still doing 1 brace. I think I remember coming in. You still had 1.
Yeah. There was a time when I would take off. I had 2 on each leg.
Yeah.
And then it was 1 on each leg, and then it was just 1 leg until the point where I felt good enough that I didn't have to wear them anymore. And that was like a big to-do for me. I'm like, I don't have to wear this anymore. I felt good. So, and then just over time, consistency, just doing it more and more and getting stronger and stronger, and all the encouragement from the Be Well family has been phenomenal, you know, just helping to stay motivated, to keep coming, and you know, it's been wonderful, and I don't ever want to go back to feeling.
I was just going to say, you said that yesterday, and I was like, man, I hope she says that.
I don't ever want to go back to feeling like that, and
that's your prime motivator. You love the way your life is.
I love the way I feel now. I don't ever want to go back there. You know, I still work with my doctor to make sure my treatment is, you know, within whatever they say. I'm on this program, and whatever they have working for me is working great because I'm actually in remission, she says.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have to go see, I used to have to go see her every 3 months.
Yeah.
I don't have to go like once a year now.
That's awesome.
You know, they just have me on this plan and this exercise thing and this healthy thing, and I love all the.
And let me tell you, her
nutrition
exercise thing is 5 days a week.
Most consistent member. I remember when Julie started, and it was, I think, the 2nd summer that I was teaching Zumba. So it's been 6 years.
Sounds about right.
At least. Yeah. So at least 6 years. And the most consistent person for 6 years, because 5 days a week, she doesn't miss.
And I've heard you say the reason you are here 5 days a week is that when you do have to miss, you don't feel good the next day.
I don't. I need my...
And we're not saying like, that's because of Be Well Nation. We're saying that's because she has adopted this lifestyle of movement and activity, and now it's part of who she is, right?
And I've been known that if I know, you know, things come up. You have, you know, something's going on that you have to miss a day or whatever. I have to like get in another workout somewhere, right?
Somewhere.
I have to do that. Just, I don't know, it's my mental, I don't know, I just need to.
Right.
It makes me feel better.
Yes.
Yeah. Because if I go too long and don't do something, I'm like, oh, I feel like crap. Why do I feel like crap? Because I didn't do it.
Right.
Same thing with your eating. Like if I like slip a little, I'm like, oh, yeah, I feel I'm not gonna, you know.
You get a food hangover.
I do. Yeah. I like that. I don't like that.
Forget alcohol.
Get back on track again.
I know.
Now, what I think is interesting, and did you ever imagine 6, 7, 8 years ago that at this point in your life, not only would you be exercising and in very good physical shape, but then you would be taking courses to become a fitness instructor?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever secretly want? I mean,
you know what? You'd be surprised because when I was young, I was so shy. I mean, definitely afraid of like being in front of people. But you know, over the years, it kind of got a little easier. But it's because you guys have been so encouraging and so helpful and so inspirational that I'm like, I think I can do that. I think I may be able to do that.
Absolutely do that.
So yeah. But I would have never thought I would have been an instructor, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, or whatever. No.
3 years ago, maybe.
And even thinking in my mind now, I'm 50, and I'm being an instructor at 50. People think I'm, maybe some people think I'm crazy, but I don't know.
All right. And you have to realize, and if you don't, we're going to tell you right now, your story and what you do every day will inspire other people. So now as an instructor, you'll not only motivate them physically in front of the room when you exercise and you show them what to do, but your story as they get to know you will inspire so many other people today and beyond. And in every class you teach, when they find out about you, because first you'll just be that tall, graceful man, that turbo kick instructor, she kicks my butt every time. But as they get to know you, they'll be like, what? You have rheumatoid arthritis, but you're 50, but you do this, you do that, you do. I can't do what you do because I have and you'll be the one that helps them around that obstacle.
And when we say this to you, we're coming from the perspective not blaming you for not doing things.
No.
We want to give you hope. Because oftentimes when you go to the doctor, you get a diagnosis. What we need to remember is it's a diagnosis. It's not a prognosis for the rest of your life. And this is hope that you can move and do things to be healthy and to improve your life. It may not look like what Julie did, and you're like, we're not going to say, hey, you're going to be a fitness
Right. Everybody must become an instructor.
Although I have been known to say, if you stand still next to me too long, you will be going to an instructor training. But we want to give you hope that there is a vitality and a life that you can still have.
Your diagnosis is not a resignation to anything.
Right. And we don't, and sometimes we feel like that.
Or a phase in life. You know, when you have little ones, or if you're going through a divorce, or financially you're having a tough time, any of those phases in life where you feel like, could you kick me a little harder?
Right.
Know that it's temporary if you choose for it to be temporary.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the end.
And that we need to find where we can get some hope for you through movement. You know, movement makes you feel better.
It does.
Emotionally, mentally, physically. What that movement will look like for you will be different than everyone else. But we really just want to, I forgot about you wearing those knee braces until you mentioned, I totally forgot about that until we were talking, and Julie's like, yeah, remember when I walked in? I was like, oh, totally forgot about the double knee braces and everything.
Yeah.
So we want to look at this as hope, and we're going to be bringing you more stories of people, real people. You know, these aren't little things we've made up and brought in an actor.
Yeah, I have to say at Be Well Nation, we're very blessed. We have a lot of women and men who come in, and you may look at them and say, oh, wow, of course they work out, all right. But then you learn their stories, and you learn who they are. And those are the people that we're going to bring to you, people who have overcome or just blown right through those obstacles and found a way to be healthier every single day. And we're blessed to know them and to have them here. They are the people who make this place really special. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you,
really
Julie.
appreciate it.
For having me.
You survived.
And you can join Julie starting Thursday,
St. Patrick's
March
Day, yes.
17th. She will be the Turbo Kick Live instructor every Thursday at 9:30. So come on in and first-hand experience.
Very exciting, yes. So for Leslie Benedetto, I'm Kate Harris, Julie Whalen, our special guest today. Remember, you can see us on Twitter in about 10 seconds. We also have a YouTube channel and always at BeWellNation.com. So thanks and have a great afternoon.